Welcome to The Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. Here's your host, the biggest record nerd of them all, Nate Goyer.
Well, hey everyone, it's Nate. Welcome to yet another episode 500 here on The Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. And for those of you who may not be following the story here, we are celebrating the 500th episode of The Vinyl Guide throughout the month of June. Each Monday, we have a new special guest on, someone I've always wanted to have on the show, and we've had an amazing month so far. Starting off with Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, episode 500. Then Billy F. Gibbons of ZZ Top, another, episode 500. Last week, we had on the show Brett Gurewitz, the founder of Epitaph Records and founding member of Bad Religion. Incredible guest, great guy, another episode 500. And now today, and I've always wanted to have this gentleman on the show, Mr. Fred Schneider of the fabulous B-52s. Now, for those of you who may not know, Fred is quite the record collector. He's got an incredible collection of 20,000 plus records. He'll talk about it today. He's still adding to it, and we'll go through his whole collection, his approach to it, and learn all about it today, as well as also talking about the rare records and recordings of the B-52s, including the original Rock Lobster single, which is not cheap these days. It's also a different version of the song, which, incredibly enough, is even more peppy than the one you may be used to. Now, to be clear, Fred is old school. Fred doesn't do Zoom, doesn't do video calls, so the quality of the audio is a little bit different than we're used to here on the show, but you could still understand him. I did my best to EQ and bring him up as much as possible. And another thing to mention, you'll also want to know about the new B-52s vinyl box set. There's only 2,000 of these made. They're available at Rhino Records. It's a 9 LP set, all rainbow colored vinyl, and you can get yours at rhino.com. Now, please let me be clear. This is not an ad. Rhino is not paying me to say any of this, but I've personally spent a lot of time up at rhino.com. They have this special Rhino High Fidelity pressing series of albums like the Stooges debut, Wilco's AM, what's another one? Devo's Freedom of Choice, Coltrane's Olé. And on a recent trip to the States over at Waterloo Records in Austin, Texas, I picked up the Eddie Hazel Rhino Reserve pressing, and that sounds amazing. They're super high quality reissues of albums that, if you want to find an original, is going to set you back quite a bit. So this is a really good way to get that music in high quality without breaking the bank. Again, spend some time over at rhino.com. They seem to be doing it right, focusing on quality vinyl reissues and quality titles, including the new box set from the B-52s. And finally, if you have a little bit of money left over after you get done with rhino.com, please consider becoming a patron of the Vinyl Guide podcast. You do that at patreon.com/Vinyl Guide. And up there, I put high resolution versions of this podcast, as well as extras. I often put extended stuff up there as well. And it all goes to help support your buddy Nate here and all the work we do here at the Vinyl Guide podcast. That's patreon.com/Vinyl Guide. And we appreciate the support. All right, for another episode 500, let's get on the horn and talk records and more with Fred Schneider of the B-52s.
Hey, Nate.
Hi, Fred. How are you today?
I'm good in dreary weather.
Same here back in Sydney. I guess it's raining all over the world.
Oh, my God.
By the way, just to clarify how to address you, I see you recently received a doctorate. So is that Dr. Fred? Dr. Schneider?
Uh-huh. Yeah, Dr. Fred.
Okay. Hey, Fred, thank you so much Dr. Fred. Thank you so much for taking the time. Someone forwarded me a picture of you with your record collection, and I knew we had to get you on the show. So do you know the picture that I may be referring to, the one with the wall of records behind you?
Oh, yeah. And there were more downstairs.
Okay. Wow, that looks like an incredible collection. Floor to ceiling, custom cabinets, everything. So I guess you would consider yourself a record collector. That would be fair, yeah?
I think the way I do it, record nut.
Okay. Can you describe your collection? How would you describe your record collection to others?
Oh, I've got everything. I've got avant-garde, classical, I really like funk and soul. I like real ridiculous records that are really bad. I like bad Christmas records. Uh, I love Halloween records. I do like. I mean, I love like Led Zeppelin, but I've heard enough Beatles. I could like probably sing play them in my head if I needed to. I've been collecting since I was 13.
I don't know if you have an estimate just on the quantity of records you have, but it would have to be 10,000 or more.
Maybe. I need to get rid of a lot of them. I mean, it's like I need to fix my record player out here. That's the problem. I'm at my house, so.
You've got 10,000 records and a broken record player?
Well, the receiver doesn't work. I have to get a new receiver, get someone to put it up, put it in.
Right. Okay.
It's complicated.
So, when was the last time you did have a working system? Is this just a recent fracture of your audio system?
Well, I have a portable. I have a portable that sounds really good, but I found out it plays 45, but then it stops where 33 and a third would stop, which is infuriating. So, I got to find someone to come and, really set up my other one. But it is handy. It's hard to play 45s on a big stereo system. Whereas if you have a portable, it's real easy to play 45.
Yeah, I imagine. So the picture that I'm seeing is you with your 33s, your 12-inch records. Do you have a similar amount of 45s as well?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
That's maybe 4.
And are you still adding to the collection?
I try not to. I'm doing a big purge. I'm, selling a whole bunch just because I know I'm not going to listen to all of them. At my age, I have to live to be 140.
Well, let's hope. But I can see where downsizing would be a pretty good idea. How are you purging your records?
Selling them and donating. I belong to the Archive of Contemporary Music, and I used to donate dozens and dozens of records there, but they moved far away and they can't pick them up. But I donate to them, so it's like a Noah's Ark of every kind of rock and roll and soul and weird record.
Now, do you have any holy grails of your collection? Like when you think of your collection, are there a handful of records that are just head and shoulders more important to you than the others?
Well, I still have a lot of my original 45s from when I first started collecting, and I have I still have the first Bugs album. My mother got me I guess she thought they were the Beatles, so she got me a group called the Bugs from England, and it's actually not a bad record. If you Google it, it gets halfway decent reviews. There's one of back in the day, you get 88-cent records at the supermarket.
So the Bugs, the records of your youth, the actual records that you had as a boy, those are the most important for you, it sounds like.
I have a lot of them, yeah, because I still like them. And boy, what an eclectic taste I had, but I'm glad.
No, I understand. I get the same question, and what are my most precious records? And it's the actual grooves that I listened to as a kid that shaped my brain.
Well, I kept collecting and moved into funk and Led Zeppelin, stuff like that, and then new wave. I have a lot of new wave. Well, I was the DJ for 3 years on Sirius satellite radio, and I didn't like what they wanted me to play as much as what I wanted to play. That was new wave. So I bought dozens of. Luckily, that thrift store around the corner from where my apartment is, they had dollar 12-inch records, and a lot of them are rare. Sold too, but I played new wave on my show.
Right. Now, do you care much about rarities or first pressings, that sort of thing? Or is it just any record, any pressing of it, as long as it sounds good, it's fine to you?
I like that. Well, Most of mine are first pressings. I mean, I don't want to go get a reissue. You know, I don't care about that because I can always get a CD, and a lot of those sound better than a lot of the vinyl from the 50s and 60s. And if I go to record store day, we have record store day here where they sell limited editions, unfortunately, limited editions of albums. And I'll get a limited edition album if it's got songs, if the group never had an album and it's remastered and has songs that were never released. But those are few and far between.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything in particular you're looking to still add to the collection? Some holy grail out there you hope the universe manifests sometime?
No, no. I would like the sleeve to "When I'm Gone" by Brenda Holloway, but
Mm.
you know, that's $100, and I'm not gonna spend $100 for a record sleeve. Um, but my birthday's coming up, so if any of your listeners have it and want to send it to me. No, I don't have any holy. I got basically everything I've always liked.
Are you particular about the condition of records? Obviously, we all want good condition records, but if you find a song you like and it's scuffed up, do you still take it home?
Well, I'll clean it up. If it doesn't sound good, the archive wants rare records, even if they're like a little noisy. I don't like noise on my rare. I mean, kids, I guess it was late 70s and 80s, all of a sudden, people thought it was really cool to have noise in their songs because the records had noise, which meant they had bad records that they were aping or something. So I never got into that.
Are you surprised by the recent return of vinyl to the forefront?
Never left my turntable. And I still got lots of CDs, and CDs are making a big comeback here. So I'm glad because I've got dozens and dozens of those. I should say hundreds. Because I listen to music really. Oh, you must watch a lot of bad TV. It's like, well, no, I'll watch bad movies, but I don't watch a lot of bad TV. I like to listen to music most of the day. I don't watch TV during the day, right? But
Okay. So when your record player is working, you'll be at home. You'll listen to several hours of records a day pretty much every day. Is that kind of the routine?
well, yeah, I have to be doing something too. I don't just sit there and listen. Well, if I'm drinking my coffee, I'll play records in the morning. I usually play classical because I don't need anything real bombastic while I'm trying to read. Because that's when I read all my magazines and stuff. So I'll play. What I like is electronic music from the 50s and 60s, and I like harp music of all things, and I like it's called glass harmonica. They played these glasses in the 18th century and early 19th century, and it just made an ethereal sound. I like those records. And a lot of compositions were made for the glass harmonica, but they fell out of favor, and they just adapted it to other instruments. But the glass harmonica sounds the best.
Wow. Now, is there any series of records or like what music helped shape the sound of the B-52s? It's so unique. What were the primary influences in the records that shaped that sound in the early days?
Well, we liked everything, but since I don't write music, but I help arrange and everything. Steve and Ricky wrote the music, so it was a lot of their influences. Plus, they had original ideas. We obviously did not ape any other bands. They thought we were influenced by surf music, but it's just that Ricky had a Sears guitar that was a surf guitar, and we were going to try to sound like the Beach Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as rock, I listen to our songs on the radio, and I go, I can't believe they're playing that because it sounds so weird, really weird compared to, except for like Love Shack and Rome and a few others. compared to everything else they're playing. Like the local radio station, I call in all the time, and they all know me, and I know the DJs, and they'll play weird stuff from the band. And one DJ's favorite B-52 song is "Moon in the Sky," called "The Moon," and another one played Keith Lorraine the other day, and boy, that sounds weird compared to everything.
So you're still calling the radio stations requesting songs.
Oh, I enjoy it. It's an oldie station, but several of the DJs play really good music, and they'll play obscure soul, and I've turned them on to quite a few records, and they've added those to the playlist.
I guess if your record player's broken, that's the best way to be able to hear the song you want to hear.
Well, if you're walking around, doing things, I don't just sit and listen to the radio. I mean, I listen to it while I'm reading, because I'll listen to the public radio, but that gets so depressing with what's going on with our country, and you want to know what's going on, but then you're horrified at what they're doing, that they're ruining our country. So, I just listen to it as long as I can, and then just make donations to different charities. That's about all you can do.
So let's talk about that original single on DB Rex. What do you recall about making that Rock Lobster single?
Oh, it's real exciting. We went to a real studio somewhere in the mountains of Georgia, not far from where we lived, and recorded that in 52 Girls, and then he pressed 2,000 copies, and they sold out really fast, and then wound up pressing 30,000 more eventually, and it's what made us really well known. In somehow it got to Australia, and Australia picked up on it, and we went from playing dumps in our country, and then our first tour of Australia, they're like rolling out the red carpet, and we're like, what the hell? Because we're still wearing our crazy clothes, because we didn't buy, like, have tailored coordinated outfits or anything, but it didn't matter, I guess.
Yeah, there's a huge love for B-52s down here. I think Rock Lobster and Love Shack are still in the charts.
Yeah, there's a reggae version now by the Kingston Sound System. They remixed Love Shack, and I actually like it a lot.
Oh, now that initial single, the B-52s were playing live. The person who owned DB Rex, the name
He had
of
a record.
He had a record store. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't have a record label. He just had a record store, but he put up the money and had it pressed.
Was there a choice of different songs, or was it always was it clear Rock Lobster was the one to record?
Rock Lobster, yeah. And on the flip side, 52 Girls. Yeah, we just made that decision. I mean, I used to play keyboard bass. Of course, I had tape on the keys I had to play because I didn't play instruments, which was sort of funny to me because they always zoom in on the keyboard player's hands playing the keys. And there I'd be laughing that they're watching me, da, 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 with my finger on tape keys that I knew where to play.
So
hey, Levy.
So that first single on DB Rex, there were several different versions of the cover, several different pressings. There was the red logo one, the yellow logo one. I believe the blue sleeve is the first pressing and perhaps the rarest. Is that your recollection, or do you recall these things?
The first record sleeve had the address on the back of the El Dorado restaurant in Athens where I worked, and which our studio was right next to. They got the mail for.
Oh, so you were,
and then we got.
That's where you were washing the dishes. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I was washing pots and then I'm flying to the Bahamas.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I'd rather fly to the Bahamas than wash pots. But I always enjoyed working at the restaurant.
Do you recall getting a lot of mail, correspondence from that record?
Oh yeah, we got. I don't have any of it, but we had a lot of fan mail. It wasn't really started selling, Like I said, they finally sold 30,000. We never saw a penny, but still a V.
So you're washing dishes and the guy's all, "Hey, Fred, you got some more mail."
No, no, I didn't go back to washing dishes. Once we recorded, that was it.
So as I understand, that single, especially the early one, the blue one, that was put together a lot of times by the band. There was a bit of DIY involved, some hand gluing of those sleeves. Is that correct?
No,
Okay.
I found the cover. I found the covers in some child science book, so we used that as the cover, and then had a photo taken for the back. And we definitely don't look new wave.
Right.
I mean, there I am wearing what I wore for Halloween one year, a white beater and seersucker pants.
All right. The way I understood it is there was you guys were putting the sleeves together along with Mr. DB.
No, he shipped them.
Okay.
No, he was in Atlanta. We were in Athens.
Mm-hmm. Has that version of Rock Lobster, it's different than the album version, which is
Yeah.
in most of our heads. Has that version ever been released outside of that record?
Yes, in England and wherever Island Records had us, they put out a facsimile of the first single with the first album after a while. I actually went to Holland and found it. I was like, wow, this is good.
And it's through that single that the deal with Warner and Island came through?
Yes, we started playing New York and got bigger and bigger audiences, and that's pretty much what did it. And Chris and Tina from Talking Heads came and saw us and told their manager. I wish we had a different one, but we got him, and so he got us signed to Warner's, and he signed us to Island for Europe.
Were there any other labels or discussions? Because the Talking Heads at that time were on Sire. Was there any other labels that were kind of at play?
Yeah, Sire wanted us, but they wanted our publishing, and we weren't going to give them our publishing. So I do like Seymour. What a character he was.
Okay. What memories do you have of Seymour Stein?
He was just always a great guy to me, and his wife. They used to come see us a lot. He was murdered. It was horrible. I mean, just crazy. But whenever I saw him, and I was there for his tribute, because he's always engaging with me. He always liked to engage in conversation because he knew I liked records and all that.
Okay. You guys bonded over records.
Yeah, and he liked the band.
Did Warner or Island try to shape the B-52s at all? Or is that first album 100% how the band wanted it?
That's how we wanted it. I thought it sounded a little. I didn't realize that we were pretty not rinky dink, but lo-fi. When I heard it, I had them put "Play Loud" on the front cover because I thought it needed to be played loud to sound good. And our manager even said, "Don't even try to tell them what to do because they're not going to listen."
Okay.
And there's no way we would.
Yeah. I suppose your band was pretty baffling to them, but it's good that they kept their hands off as much as they did.
We were pretty baffling, and unfortunately, they fired a lot of the people or let go of a lot of the people that were our big boosters in the first couple of months. But we still had a few. I mean, they still sort of treat us like second tier, even though we sold them millions of records, 25 million. I mean, that's not something to sneeze at, but
That ain't chump
like
change.
when we got our platinum record for Cosmic Thing that had Love Shack and everything on it. The president presented it to us, and the only people they had were the janitor and a housekeeper at Warner's in L.A. And it's like, oh, thanks. It's like, God, how insulting. But the the janitor and the housekeeper were nice.
Yeah, those are the only people around. It's like a eloping, and those are the only witnesses to the wedding.
Yeah. Oh, someone's coming out of the closet. Who was? Oh, it's the janitor. Look, get him.
Let's make it look like there's a crowd.
That's terrible.
Who was the cover artist? That yellow cover is so iconic. Do you remember how that came together?
Well, George Dubose, a friend of ours, took the photo, and then it was put on a yellow cover. And I forget the name of the guy who did it, but he was embarrassed by that, and he put cover art by Sue Absurd.
Okay, he didn't even want his name associated.
I guess he can't claim credit for it because he did put his name to it. We liked it a lot.
So right off the bat, you guys knew, like, okay, this is what we want.
Yeah. They showed it to us. We liked it,
and it sticks out on the rack even to this day. It's a great visual for the band. Now, who is the proofreader? Because the B-52s with an apostrophe S is not exactly correct.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, we realized that after a while. But it looked good. Whatever, we're not gonna. There was like a big, oh my God, they removed the asterisks from or whatever from B-52s. And it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's like we finally corrected it.
Well, actually, that was on the original DB Rex Rock Lobster. That same font, even to this day, that font that you guys used in 1978 for the very first release is still relevant and active and on T-shirts today.
It's catchy. It's good. We didn't, why change a good thing? My Facebook page still has the same stupid photo I used 20 years ago or 15 whenever I started using Facebook.
Now, as I understand, Wild Planet is a selection of songs that was also from the time of the original LP. Do you see Wild Planet as a continuation of the debut?
Well, yes, because we had a bunch of those songs, and it's a step up production-wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They seem to be two records that go together, even not only musically, but even the covers, the visuals seem to complement one another.
Yeah, we like the basic look of, and they call it the yellow album and the red album.
Over the years, I know there's a new box set coming out from Rhino. Have those albums been remixed, remastered? Any changes from current day as they were originally released?
I think they were, because they re-released all those albums except Good Stuff on color vinyl already, and well, not exactly individually, but so I think they've been remastered.
Okay.
I don't know why Warner Brothers. I mean, Rhino just did it. All of a sudden, we find out we have it, so it's like, okay, whatever.
Oh, you weren't even in on the decision or aware it was happening.
No, and I would have pressed more of them, for Christ's sake. I mean, 2000,
Yeah.
and we just they released a picture disc of the first album, and they only pressed 3,500. I'm like, hello, we have more than 200,000 fans, regular. So it's like, okay, it's that stupid record store day, but we don't have any say in it.
Okay. So most of the time when reissues come out these days, you guys, you're unaware of it until the announcement goes out.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they just put out a picture disc. They're putting out a picture disc. Oh, great. How many? That few? Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Okay.
As long as they save me one.
Well, there's some artists where that happens. They don't even get one. So at least they're including you when it's time to ship.
Well, no, they didn't give me one of those.
Okay.
My friend, my friend is also my assistant, runs a record store. So they only got 2 for record store day. So he got 1 and I got 1. They ordered 25, which is par for the court.
Do you try to have one or more of everything that B-52s, like all the different reissues? Do you have a section of your record collection that is specifically B-52s?
No, I have them all in boxes. I need to coordinate everything, and I realize I have really tons of T-shirts. I just went through all the band T-shirts, all that stuff, and memorabilia, clippings. I saw that I had like 4 tubs of clippings and magazines, and it's like, oh God, what the hell am I going to do with this? Coordinated, and it's all in my house now. It's like, oh God. And I don't want to put it in storage because I never go to my storage space, and that has records in it.
You're a deep collector of multiple things, it appears.
Uh, yeah.
Mm.
To my regret sometimes.
Oh, of just
It's
having all
just
these
too
things
much to
around?
keep up with.
I don't know if you know what's happening with Steve Albini. Obviously, he passed. You guys were friends
Yeah,
and
yeah,
collaborators,
that was yeah,
and he
that was
and
great. Right.
his family is selling his items one by one to the fans, and it's actually quite fun to be able to have a piece of Steve Albini's collection as part of your collection.
Yeah. Well, I think that his wife would be the one doing that, not the family. But that might have been his wish.
Yeah,
But no one expected him to go so young. I mean, it's just like a shock.
yeah. You guys worked together on the Just Fred album. How did that collaboration come together?
Um, my ex, the songs I was, I was doing another solo album, and realized it was getting very intense. And my ex said, we should get Steve Albini to produce it. I'm like, he's not going to produce my record. I liked what Steve did, but I didn't think he'd produce me. But it turns out he was a big fan of the band. And I played a really rinky dink cassette for him. And he just made it all sound really great. I mean, I had really good bands doing the demos. And I went to Chicago, played it for him. And because I really like going to Chicago, and I knew the woman he finally married uh, from record stores there. There was it was a winter storm, and the drifts were like 2, 3 feet high, but the record stores were open, so I went to a record store and met all these people and stayed really good friends with them. And his wife had worked at that record store. It just was I was just really lucky to be able to work with him, and he put the bands together, or had different bands that were together that I really liked. Had never really heard of Six Finger Satellite, but I really liked them. And Shadowy Men, and Russell Simmons and I became good friends. He is so funny. Oh my God. uh yeah, so I was just so lucky. I
Yeah,
feel very lucky.
Steve was a friend of the show. He was record nerd, so I don't know. It probably doesn't shock you too much, but I always found him. He was not just a fan of music; he was a fan of authenticity. And when I saw that you guys had worked together on the Just Fred album, and to me, it made total sense because I think he appreciates strong personalities and people who are focused and good at the niche that they do.
I'm really proud of that record. I think the lyrics are really good, the music's really good, the production's really good. I have no regrets about it. Just that they didn't promote it at all.
Are there any not just from Fred Schneider solo work, but B-52s? Are all the B sides and usable outtakes available, or are there still some that you think could see the light of day sometime?
We have 1 or 2 songs that one wasn't completed, and one was going to be on Mesopotamia, but I just thought it was too corny with the title it had, because originally it was called Goodbye Pink Cow, but it sounded really, serious. And they maybe changed it to Good Adios Unknown One. And it's like, no, this is, I'm embarrassed. I'd rather have it be Goodbye Pink Cow.
So do you know if you have all the tapes, all the multi-tracks and all the masters? Is that something that are remixes a potential thing at some point?
Well, yeah, that's why they lent him to Kingston Sound System. They lent Love Shack, the reggae version of Love Shack.
Oh, that's not just a cover. That uses some of the actual sound
Oh, it's our
elements.
song. It's our song.
Oh,
They remixed it and they added all the music.
now there's that story of Rock Lobster where Yoko and John heard it, and John decided that the world had caught up to Yoko and it was time for them to record Double Fantasy.
Uh-huh.
So Yoko was a big influence on the band early on, even for that first DB Rex single.
Well, yeah, Cindy does the Yoko thing on it. She was an inspiration. I mean, you don't really hear her throughout everything, but she was. We all listened to her records and liked them. I think we're one of the few people, some of the few people that did. You know, because people are horrible and make fun of her, but we loved what she did with things.
Mm-hmm.
And who else? Who else could do that? So Cindy did a really good Yoko for Rock Lobster, I must say.
And you guys have formed a connection with Yoko.
Yes, she became a friend.
Yeah.
She became a friend.
What was the challenge with the Don't Worry song on the Whammy album?
I guess because they wanted all the royalties. I mean, her lawyers and things. Yoko was nice. And they even said the band couldn't be nicer. So we decided, well, we're not going to press anymore. It's on the first 125,000 copies, I think.
Yeah. It's not too hard to find. During the day, we had Jack Douglas on the show, who produced Double Fantasy. And for many years, he had challenges not with Yoko, but with her legal team.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I could see where that would come together. So let me ask you, are you familiar with the Fred Schneider improv game?
Yes. Everyone asked me that, yes. And I've also walked in on people who I did Second City, which is the comedy troupe here in Chicago that Steve Albini's wife is the producer of.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went with her to go see it, and she asked if I wanted to do it. I had taken improv lessons, so I thought, okay, which I'd never done improv in front of people. But I usually don't want to do something, but then something says, "Oh, do it, you dope." So I said yes and really liked it. It went over really well. But they were doing, the second time I did it, they were doing the Fred Schneider thing. And I walked out and I go, well, this is really insulting. I was joking, but I mean, who came up with that idea? I mean, I didn't.
Well, it's fun to talk like Fred Schneider.
Well, yeah, but most people stink at it. So, because people, if they have, I'm going to do an impersonation of you, and eventually I'm going, oh shit, I don't want to hear this. And then they do it, and they say, what do you think? I say, well, I think it stinks. The only person I've heard sort of sing like me is that we had this really good cover band of B-52s called Hey Lady. The lead singer in that is the only person I've ever heard do a good job.
Mm.
Sing like me. I think a lot of people just want to make fun of it, so who cares? I'm Fred Schneider, they're not. Huh?
So, Fred, it's such a joy to talk to you and hear these stories. Before we wrap up, just back to the record collection. Well, hopefully you'll have your record player or your receiver sorted soon. Do you still go to record stores?
Yeah, I need to do that.
Pardon? Do you still go to record stores regularly?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, my assistant is also one of my good friends now. He manages a record store, and then I'm out on Long Island, but there's a record store near me. So I've traded in a lot of records with them. And I come away, but usually when I come away with, they also have freebies. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is free? But I get more records I buy a lot of records, but I give them away because they're $1. So I find really good ones and give them to my friends.
Mm. Is there a record that or two that you cannot leave at a record shop? Like if you see one that's reasonably priced, you take it home and either have multiples or you give them away to friends?
I have only a very few multiples, but they're both in mint condition. There's an album called that people are not familiar with. It's called, and we used to open to this. It's called Midnight for Two by the Three Sons, and it has this elegant couple on a broom, witch's broom, on the front. And there's a song called When Yuba Plays the Rumba on the Tuba.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had the local radio station play that too. They really like it, and it's a rock station. But they play all different things. They're real eclectic. They'll play Frank Sinatra and things. Really good.
Is there anything they won't play?
Hard, like hardcore and stuff.
Okay. What's the most you've ever paid for a record?
Oh, I guess $125. But that's more than I paid. The next most amount is probably like 50. But those are very few.
Right. Do you remember what that $125 record was?
The Bad Seed. This movie from the city. It was it's John Waters' favorite movie. It's about this kid who killed all her friends for things she wants from them, and her grandmother is terrible. And the girl was nominated for an Oscar, I think, but it was just such, for the 50s. It was just too much.
Right.
And at the end, the censors made them spank her for being a bad girl.
So
that's entertainment.
It was clearly a record you wanted in your collection.
Yeah. It's an amazing movie because you're just like in shock at this is the 1950s and she's doing that.
Do you collect any like radio pressings or white label promos? Are you into that at all?
No, not if I see one, because sometimes those are in better fidelity than later pressings. Like I know a friend of mine showed me how to find early pressings of RCA Victor records. So if it's like one, it'll say somewhere on the vinyl 1, 2, 3. So if it's 34, then I know it. Well, by that time the whole label had changed. But I don't pursue them. If I see a mobile fidelity for $1, I'll buy it. And
mobile
then
fidelity for $1.
Yeah, but if I at their stores, and if I don't like it or don't want it, I'll take it to a record store and trade it in for something I really want.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I don't think I've ever found a mobile fidelity for $1. That you go to some good thrift stores.
Oh yeah.
Very
but then
cool.
now, like I said, I got to get rid of stuff.
Well, Fred, it's been an absolute joy having this conversation. Always enjoyed the work that you've done, and so glad to have been able to connect with you, not only about the musical history, but your vinyl record collection. You and I have a very similar sickness when it comes to collecting these records and enjoying music.
My sympathies.
Yeah. This is normally the point where we promote something that you're doing. There's the Rhino B-52s box that is available, 2,000 units.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. They're not going to be able to get into Australia, unfortunately.
It's a pretty heavy box to ship.
Not really. They gave me 5. I'm very lucky.
Oh. Good.
I have to thank them for that.
All right. Well, good on the Rhino team for that.
Well, I'm promoting my Christmas records coming out again this year, with the Superions, and I did a Halloween song a couple of years ago, and that's being re-released on Happy Birthday to Me, called Vampire Vamp. It's actually been used in a TV show, and they're gonna the Happy Birthday is going to reissue more of the solos, the stuff I did with the Superions. And they're so honest, I've had them put out whatever I do now.
Oh, excellent.
I wrote 2 songs for Elvira. Hopefully those will get that reissued.
Excellent. And we know the b52s.com is for information on B-52s and the shows that you're doing with Kate and Cindy. Dr. Fred, you take care of yourself. Hopefully we'll see you in Australia at some point.
I hope so too, but not in the summer.
What a lovely dude. Thank you, Dr. Fred. And again, just a quick reminder, for the month of June, we are giving away a record a day. To enter to win one of these collectible records, simply go to thevinylguide.com/500, register, and maybe a box will be showing up to your door soon. And that's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in. Huge thanks to everyone who's sharing these episodes on social media, putting them on Reddit forums and Facebook groups. That is hugely appreciated. And those of you leaving positive reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where you're giving this old man a big old smile. We'll be back shortly with a brand new episode. Thanks again for listening. Cheers.